Namaskaram. I pay my solemn obeisance to all the viewers. Dear viewers, today we are going to discuss chapter 10th of book Genesis of Old Testament of Bible. This chapter 10 tells us about the generations of sons of Noah. How they spread to various parts of this earth. Though this chapter claims that the whole earth was populated by the generations of sons of Noah, but we know that it is a bogus claim. The area mentioned here and in other chapters also, we clearly know that at the most they are describing about the upper few regions of South Africa and Eastern Europe and Western Europe at the most, or the Middle Europe. Their extension is on and around these regions. Europe, primarily Western and Middle, and somewhat Eastern may also be included, and the regions of Africa, the Western regions, Egypt, and on and around that area. But here it is mentioned that no, they were spread to all the regions of the world. But here it is not mentioned which regions of the world. Asian region, Australian region, and South American regions. These regions are not mentioned here. So how could we say that they spread to all over the world? In fact, by the descriptions given here, we could only guess that they knew only those regions which I mentioned earlier, the regions of Europe and Africa, northern regions of Africa and European regions. They knew only about those regions, and for them those regions are the world. The chapter reads, the first verse, "Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood." Then the fifth verse says, "By these were the isles of Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, and their families in their nations." One thing more here I would like to mention, that this chapter is saying that the generations of Noah, they have different tongue. How they have learned, how they have evolved these tongues. It is not easy that from one tongue so much tongues get evolved. It is not so easy. Evolution of language is not a one-day thing. It is not a matter of even 200 and 300 years. And the regions which were populated by these generations of Noah, they might have learned, if they have migrated to some other places, they might have learned the language spoken in those areas. But here it is mentioned that those areas were not populated. Means these persons have started the population. So how could they have developed different languages? It is very unscientific claim, which is very hard to believe. The 8th verse read, and Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be mighty one in the earth. The 9th verse reads, he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. So Nimrod is called the mighty hunter. He might be a very healthy, big, strong person. The 10th verse says, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. So here the name of kingdom is mentioned, that is Babel, and Erech and Akkad and Canaan in the land of Shinar. Here the land of Shinar is mentioned. And in the 14th verse reads, here it is mentioned the name of Philistine. And Pathorism and Casluhim, out of whom came Philistine, and Capthori. So this clearly indicates, this is hinting that those regions on and around Palestine, Gaza Strip, those regions of today's Israel, these regions were the regions which this book wants to mention. And for this book, those regions are in fact the whole world. The 18th verse reads, and the Arvadite, the Zemarite, and the Hamathite, and afterward were the families of Canaanites spread abroad. This family, Canaanite, this family is more influential on and around the region of Egypt and Israel, Palestine. Here you could see in the 19th verse, and the border of Canaanites was from Sidon, as though comes to Gerar unto Gaza. As you know today that this Gaza Strip, these regions are still a very volatile region. These regions are the regions of conflict, constant conflict. Even today, we are noticing the growing discontentment and conflict in the name of religion. Three religions, Jews, Muslims and Christians, they all are fighting for the land on and around those regions. The 20th verse reads, these are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongue, in their countries and in their nations. So the land, even if it is a small land, a land of on and around 10,000, 20,000 square kilometer, they used to call them as a nation. Even if it is around 1,000 square kilometer, they would call it a land of nation. Even today we visualize there are very small countries in Europe. One district of India is equivalent to one country of Europe. So built by the population, and these countries, though they have different languages, of course, on the basis of language, they have developed a nation theory. And now we come to 25th verse. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. The 25th verse says that in his days the earth was divided. Earth means not the whole earth. In today's parlance, we could not imagine of the whole earth. Very small bit of land, they used to call them earth. This is their knowledge, their limited knowledge of earth geography. They used to call a little bit of land as earth. The 31st verse reads, these are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in the lands and their nation. The same verse they mention in the same format. Here again said that the families of same, they also developed different languages. How it is possible the whole family started developing different languages? In one generation, they started developing different languages. These are the families of the sons of Noah. The 32nd verse, this is the last verse, chapter 10 contains 32 verses, and this is the last verse. These are the families of the sons of Noah after the generations in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Means it seems that every member of Noah family gets a country. This is simply very funny that every member of a family gets a nation and a different language. So this is the biblical story, hard to believe. Oh.